How cool or lame are the new characters in this one? What was with that huge cameo? What does it mean? Do you have to see the first Spider-Verse movie to see this movie? What was your favorite part of this movie? Let's get into everything right now. They did it. They made a sequel to an almost perfect movie, and it is good. The sequel is actually good. We did it, people. First off, this movie is part 1 of 2 parts, at least. I'm cool with more. We all good with more? I'd be down for as many of these as they want to make at this point. Bring them on. We're already here, man. Let's do it. Somehow this one definitely has the energy and everything and strengths of the first one. I feel like it's tying the two together really well. The same music is utilized.
What's up, danger?
Want to get out of here?
The same pace of the characters, same dialogue, witty but heavy when it comes to it on an emotional level. Gwen, Spider-Woman, is definitely our secondary lead character in this movie. I definitely like that. It adds more depth to both of their stories, which they seem to be the main characters almost from the last movie. Her world is cool, but personally her world is a little bit tough for me to process. The colors change a lot and it's very dynamic and I don't love it. It looks cool, but it's tough for me to feel grounded in. The story with her dad and her connection with her dad and the struggles with that connection. The first part of the movie that just completely pulled me in was when she reached up, turned off the radio and shut out the window. And the music started playing to go take care of the scene that she had with her dad was probably there, even trying to find her. It was excellent. The opening battle with the Vulture from the other universe, really good, pulls me in, light. Conversations going back and forth. Gwen meets someone of the new characters. She just says, "Can you adopt me?" The world expansion there is executed perfectly. It's actually popping up with like descriptions for us to figure out what hammer space is. Moving on with the story, we see Spot. Soft introduction of who Spot is. It seems like he's not a big villain in the movie. I'm sure the comic book fans know that Spot's a big deal probably. I don't read comics, unfortunately. Sorry. I just don't. That's not my speed. I love movies. I didn't really see it turning out that way, that he would end up becoming the main villain of the story. In this movie, I wouldn't say that he officially is, but he is definitely like the main disruptor of everything that's going on for our characters. Jason Schwartzman is not exactly a menacing person at times, but he progresses in this character. His voice changes and it becomes a little bit more menacing as we go. Definitely fits. I'm really looking forward to what he does in the next movie, being probably a more main role. Some solid humor in this movie. I was laughing out loud at this part.
And stop Spider-Man!
Wait, you?
They're all pointing at each other like they did in the last movie. Great.
Hope I didn't ice your game, man.
No one my age says those words in that order.
Some of the other funny parts where Miles says whatever to his parents and they're like freaking out because he's a classic teenager saying whatever and drives his parents crazy. Speaking of Miles' relationship with his parents, that plays a much bigger role in this movie. Something that seemed like it was kind of almost missing in the last one. That had so much story, so it was perfectly fine to now start building on that even more. Miles finding out who he is, especially as a Spider-Man, and how he can better interact with his parents. He's only 15, I think, so it makes sense that he's growing with them still. Miles building on his relationship with Gwen is excellent. It feels natural too. He's that awkward teenager that's really into the girl that he met and he keeps thinking about her. And when he meets her, he's like the perfect amount of nervous and the perfect amount of trying to show off and be cool still. And even though she's like totally chill and totally kind of out of his league almost, it kind of feels like with how she is so controlled and such a good spider person, really. And then she gets picked up by the big group, right? There are many other new Spider-Man with some quick and varied level of introductions about who they are, where they're from. Let's kick it off. I personally think the biggest heavy hitter for sure is 2099. Oscar Isaac voiced him in what I feel like is a perfect way. He fits with the character, he fits with the tone of what his character is supposed to stand for and be in charge of and be the leader for their group. Jessica Drew, the Spider-Woman on the motorcycle, feels like a weighted and perfect mentor, but then also has a little bit of her own downsides maybe and dark sides. She's committed to the cause, maybe a little bit too much, we're not sure yet. But then there's the chill Hobie Brown Spider-Man. I think he brings a good contrast to the Spider Hub because he's kind of not exactly on board, not exactly drinking all the Spider Kool-Aid that 2099 is pouring out. Yeah, maybe not everyone's completely on board with the Spider Hub scene. The conflict in the house there of the Spider headquarters is interesting for sure. It makes it so that everybody's not cut and dry. There's a little bit of interest, there's a tug. Another new Spider-Man that's super fun and kind of keeps it light is one that I can't pronounce his name very well, who's voiced by one of our favorite kind of standard resident nerds. His character probably plays one of the smaller roles in the movie, but is so much fun. And really we do learn a lot about the Uncle Ben and the Captain, what I think they called canon events, which totally makes sense. Yeah, moments that are so important to the Spider-Man that we're looking at that will change his life, really guide him on his feelings and emotions about what he's going to be. Peter B. Parker is back.
Come on, go easy on the kid. He had a terrible teacher.
Peter!
Miles!
Perfect again, absolutely fun. The addition of his baby, who is basically already a spider person, which is great. I always kind of wondered what it would be if the Spider-Man had a baby. Would it have the Spider-Man powers right away? Also, shout out to redheads. There's a baby counts as the redhead in this movie. Miles Morales' revelation about his father becoming captain is like annoying, but it also felt like it actually made sense logically. I felt like he should have already had his growth moment and his struggle and his turmoil when his uncle Aaron died. But here we are again that his father has to die. And so it's only the logic that's saying that. It's not sure. This movie doesn't seem to say that it's telling the future, but at least what is definitely the coolest scene in the movie where he breaks out of the spider world and they're all fighting and saying who. And then it's excellent when they fall from the hub and they fall all the way down to the lower world and there's less people going on. Peter B. Parker shows up, they have a good conversation with Miles, kind of grow close to each other again. We learn that they're still friends, perhaps, but Miles is also not sure who he can trust now, and that just feels like it's kind of evolving naturally. It's obvious that everybody in the Spider Hub, 2099, Jessica Drew, and even Gwen Stacy, Gwanda, they call her again actually in front of his parents. They all know something that he doesn't know, or they're all restricting him for some reason, which we learn as they're flying up on top of the outside of the moon train. It is captivating and it feels balanced as they're flying up. And then when 2099 finally captures him, he tells him that he is an anomaly, that he wasn't supposed to exist. He was one of the first variants. It makes sense sort of that he's a variant because his spider that bit him clearly has always come from a different universe than the one he's in. But I never thought about the fact that that means that universe doesn't have a Spider-Man. And that's kind of what this is saying is so important. The movie references the first two other live action Spider-Mans, showing Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield full face in the background or in flashbacks or in computer estimated models of what the future could be like. I don't think it ever showed Tom Holland. So is the Tom Holland home series in this universe? Yes. The big cameo, Donald Glover. Donald Glover was in Spider-Man Homecoming as Aaron Davis. And he mentions, I got a nephew here. I don't want those kind of weapons in the streets. Which means that all three live action Spider-Mans have been represented. All right, going to be a little bit faster with the scoring from now on. For fun, I'm giving it an 8. It was fun. I would have been okay with more humor, a little bit more jokes. For technical, I gotta give it a 9. The sound mixing is excellent. Score is excellent. All the music that's played in is great. Visually, it looks phenomenal. Each Spider-Verse has that subtle different feeling that it's from a different universe. The characters do too. Each Spider-Man has a little bit different artwork to him. For story, I feel like it's hard since this is part 1. I'm gonna give it an 8. I did really like this story. I didn't love it because I guess I need that wrap. They set up so many other new revelations that they were not going to have time to wrap up, and we're clearly getting to our cliffhanger here. Bit of a side note, how many movies are we going to have with cliffhangers this summer? We got Fast X, that's clearly part 1 of 15. This one, part 1. And then Mission Impossible is literally called part 1. Leave a comment about your favorite part of the Spider-Verse movie. This was a good movie. I hope a lot of people went to see it. If you haven't, go check it out and watch the first Spider-Verse movie. We'll see you later.
You're a bit late.
We can't all be everywhere at once.
Little text might have been nice.
I was gone for less than 2 hours. What happened?
Okay. I know what it looks like. But here's the good news.
Oh, here we go.
The multiverse didn't collapse.
Oh, cool.
A little touch and go. But it worked out.
Great story. Hey, did you finish the goober?
It's not a goober, it's a gizmo.